Hey, it's Wednesday. Time for another action figure adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are talking about cardbacks and file cards and all that fun, nostalgic packaging related stuff. So over the weekend, I went to a flea market, one that I frequent pretty often. Really don't find that many toys there, but occasionally, that's why I keep coming back. Once in a while, I find something good. And off in the distance, I could see a GIJoe cardback. Just kind of poking up out of a box. I could see the GIJoe logo. I could make out the Python Patrol colors of a Televiper, and I was like, ooh, I gotta check this box out quick. So I start rooting through this box, and there's like kids' books and stuff in it, and the guy goes, oh, there's more of those on the side. So I start digging, and I find, a handful of loose cardbacks, and then I find like a big wad of them, and I'm so excited. I can even see on the edge that one of them is from the Night Force series GIJoe, which was a Toys R Us exclusive and is fairly rare. And as I pull this big stack out, I realize the box has been wet. It got wet in somebody's basement or in a flood or something like that, and these cards are like stuck together and probably ruined. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But, there's some good ones there. Maybe I can get the other ones apart, not all of them be damaged. So I asked the guy what he wants for them. He goes, oh, well, they're good eBay pieces. I'm like, not the ones that are soaking wet. And we settle on $5, which I knew was a fair price because, I would pay about $1 a card back, or file card probably, unless it's a rare one. And I was getting way more than $5, even if all of the ones that were damp were ruined. So I was pretty excited. I got this big stack. Two kind of like wads of stuck together ones, a handful of loose ones. Some Night Force 2-packs in there, some Battle Force 2000 2-packs, a few other toy lines, like the Toybiz X-Men, which I had a bunch of those figures as a kid, Bone Age, which was a toy line I never had, but I remember existing. So I brought these home, and I start trying to think of how I can try and see at least what characters this person owned, or which cardbacks they owned, because I think that's interesting. I like seeing what combination of characters people had as a kid. And I don't really know if this was somebody's childhood collection or just a collection of file cards that an adult collector had put together. But I will assume that it was a kid's collection, and they, for some reason, saved the cardbacks. So I decided to try and steam them apart. If you've ever known a stamp collector, they use steam to soften up the adhesive and make them come apart. It definitely helps separate them from each other, but it didn't necessarily save them from getting damaged more. Unfortunately, the ones that were really damaged were really damaged. My mom suggested to me later on that I could have tried putting them in the freezer. This was something, I think I had heard that before, but totally forgot that that's an option to try and get stuff that's stuck together apart. So if I ever do this again, ever find something like this again, I will try freezing them. I kind of wish I had talked to her, because I would have tried to steam some and freeze others to see what would happen. Let's take a look at what I was able to salvage. So obviously I've got Forge here from the Toybiz X-Men line. I never had Forge as a kid. He was a figure that I had wanted to get. I had the entire first series of the Uncanny X-Men toys as a kid. All of them. And that was, I think, the only time I ever had a complete wave of a toy line. I was in, like, 3rd grade. I had a good number of these X-Force characters, maybe half of those X-Men. I never had any of the Marvel electronic superheroes. So that's a cool card back. Let's see here. We have a Battle Force 2000 2-pack. Maverick and Blocker. Funny story about the Battle Force 2000 2-packs. I was at 2 different friends' birthday parties when I was a kid, and each one of them received half of a 2-pack. Somebody bought it and cut it in half, and as a kid, I didn't feel that it was cheap. I was just horrified that they had cut the file cards in half. Because the file cards were so important to me as a kid. Gotta save them all. Which is why these Cardbacks are so important to me now. I would love to have a complete file card collection to go with my complete figure collection. So here's another Battle Force 2000 one. Here we got Knockdown and Dodger. Now you can see these Cardbacks get ripped up just when you open them. So, you know, the fronts a lot of times are damaged, but I really enjoy the artwork. You know, the backs are all nice and clean. So I can save these in my collection as a full card back, or if I want to, I could cut the file cards out, you know, in an instance where I had a duplicate of the card back. So this one's really ripped up. This is Colossus. Alright, but there on the back you can see that's the Colossus card back. Bottom had a coupon you could send in to subscribe to X-Men comics. I actually did that as a kid. I enjoyed getting X-Men and Spider-Man comics as a subscription when I was a kid for a while. There's Wolverine advertising his snap-out claws and ring mask. You can see they ripped the included trading card there that was taped in place. Back of the package. So this is that initial Wave 1 set. I had all the characters, none of the vehicles or anything like that, but I had all those characters. I was very proud of that as a kid. I unfortunately sold them later. Night Creeper. This is not the best shaped card, but this is one of the ones that I salvaged that was really stuck together. You can see there's a little bit of pieces of the other card there. Back's not too bad. Bullhorn was one of the cards that was in great shape. I mean, it was ripped as the kid opened it, but, you know, it's all in good shape. The file card's nice. Recoil. Recoil, I can't tell if his card is slightly faded. You know, if that part was exposed to the sun or if that was just the way it was printed, but it seems just a little bit pale on the back. Of course, the Python Patrol Televiper, as I mentioned, is in great shape. And this is probably the thing I was the most excited about. A Night Force 2-pack. Sneak peek Lieutenant Falcon in great shape. Love the artwork there. You know, they modified the original card art to change the colors on these guys. And there on the back are the Night Force file cards. And you can see the Night Force characters up here from the second set of packs. The vehicles on the side. It's just very cool to me. So speaking of file cards, some of the packages that were just destroyed from being stuck together, I was able to salvage a couple file cards. Here's Metalhead from Ninja Turtles. Had him as a kid. Sold all my Ninja Turtles, all but, you know, a few, a small handful, at one point at a yard sale when I was a kid for $1.50 a piece, with their file cards, with all their weapons, bagged up, because I was like a psycho collector. I regret it a little bit, but I always turned all the money over. Anything I sold like that, I would then use that money at yard sales and flea markets to buy more stuff. So the reason I have all the GIJoe figures and all the vintage Star Wars figures is because I sold my He-Man and my Ninja Turtles and stuff as a kid and flipped the collections. I kind of wish I had all of those collections now, but, you know, hey, that's how it worked out. Got a Mondo Gecko card, which is perfect because I actually just picked up a loose vintage Mondo Gecko to add to my collection. Frag Viper here, got his file card. So the top half of that card back was stuck to another figures, so I had to throw the card back away, but I was able to, you know, salvage a file card, so that's cool. Here we have Lightfoot, and again, you know, his card back was destroyed at the top, but I was able to salvage a file card. These next ones are not in great shape. If I saved them, you know, maybe as placeholders in my file card collection, I'd definitely want to replace them at some point. But there's the Python Trooper. You know, obviously it's like missing a chunk in the shape of the state of New Jersey, but, you know, it's placeholder. And then these other ones, these more rare Night Force ones, there's Tunnel Rat, a little bit of damage. It'll be a placeholder for now. And there's Outback. So they were the top of the 2 file cards on those 2 packs. The bottom ones were just completely destroyed from being stuck together. You know, the upper ones had a little less damage. And then just because I'm an obsessive collector and I love the old packaging art, I saved the top half of some card backs that had character art on them that weren't completely destroyed. So here's Saw Viper. You can see on the back there, I mean, imagine this just everywhere on the bottom half. So the file card had to be thrown out. But I saved that little piece. If I have a full card back in my collection, I might pitch this later or, you know, whatever. But I do like the card art, so I saved these. I didn't want to save the whole ripped up card backs, though, because some of them had a little bit of mold at the bottom and stuff, so I cut it off. There's Tiger Force Bazooka. Had him as a kid. Slaughter Marauders, Sergeant Slaughter. Python Patrol, Crimson Guard. Hardball. Python Patrol, Viper. Battle Armor, Cobra Commander. Python Patrol, Cobra Officer? Or Cobra Trooper? Which one is this one? Trooper, okay, right. The officer figure is renamed Trooper for Python Patrol. There's a Slaughter Marauder Footloose. The one whole side of his card was just destroyed. But this little piece had nice art, so I saved that. Python Patrol Copperhead. Yeah, there was not a lot of his card back that was any good. And a little tiny piece of the Night Force Tunnel Rat 2-pack with Crazy Legs, actually. So, yeah, that was my flea market find. I had a good time, you know, looking through it, digging through it. I enjoy that. Looking at other people's collection, like, you know, at a yard sale, or, you know, somebody pulls a box out of their attic, just seeing what stuff they had. If this was actually a kid's collection, it was pretty impressive. But like I said, it could have just been an adult collector collecting the card backs, and somehow they got in a storage unit or something like that, got wet and thrown out. Ended up at the flea market. This has been an Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.